I'm also.
Hey, I'm Will Charmer.
Hi, I'm Quincy Fresh.
Hey, I'm Jaysin Waterfalls. And you're watching Kings on Tavern.
This is Kings on Tap. We're doing our workshop on storytelling and music mixing today. And my name is Jaysin Waterfalls. I'm one of the house cast here.
Yay.
And so it's going to be short and sweet and clear, kind of just like me. So it's a storytelling and music mixing from Carolina Kings and Things. And so started off with storytelling. The essentials of storytelling is to know what your goal or your concept is. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing that you do. You get an idea pop in your mind. You watch a movie, you get inspiration. Maybe you want to be Finding Nemo. I don't know. Maybe you want to do a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air number. You need to know what is the story and the point that you want to convey and bring it back to elementary, middle school. You start with the beginning, middle, and end, which could be a hook, a climax, and a resolution. And that's how any good presentation, let alone drag performance is done, is with you hook them in the beginning, you give them a conflict, and then you resolve it by the end of the number. For example, I did a number about me coming out as trans, and I used a storyline of where I came out with my background people, essentially presenting as female and showing that I am this character, because that's what you want to do, is you want to present who you are as a character in the first half and kind of lay the line. And then what I did was I switched songs and I showed that I am not a straight female getting married, but I switched to the song I Kissed a Girl from Katy Perry, and you saw this conflict of you went from the heteronormativity of it to the homosexuality of it. Mm-hmm. And finally, I ended with my big reveal where I came out with my wig off, the dress off, and everything, and a Trans Lives Matter shirt showing the resolution of the conflict that was that presentation, essentially. And so the thing is, the key is to edit and ask for feedback, because with my number of the trans evolution, essentially, it would be very easy for it to get bogged down and overwhelmed with a lot of details. And the focus is meant to be me and my story. Mm-hmm. And so always ask for feedback of especially people you trust and who have experience in the field, and make sure you edit. You don't want to go with your first draft, your first idea. You can always take something off. You can always pare it a little more down.
But what if you're a perfectionist and the first draft is the final product?
Then there's ways to improve it moving forward. If you are a person who sits and works until it's perfect, that's great, but that might burn you out.
Okay.
But what you can do is take that first performance and know it's not your last performance. You can use that as the base and figure out ways to make it cleaner, make it smoother, make it more readable, because your story has to not only make sense to you, but to your audience. You could fully understand what the story is in your head and the concept is fully fleshed out, but if it's not readable to your audience, it's nothing, because you're performing for them. Mm-hmm. It's very much you, but you get paid from your audience and from making them entertained through what you're presenting. So they need to be able to understand it. It needs to be clear enough. And that's where editing comes back. If you add too many details, too many people sometimes, not clear enough music or concept, then you're going to lose your audience and you're going to lose money and you're going to lose a little respect as a performer. Yeah. And make sure that the story that you're telling is also appropriate for the venue and for the type of show that you're doing. We have people who do all different types of shows, whether they're burlesque shows, whether they're brunch shows, family friendly shows. We have alt shows, creepy shows. Any other ones I'm missing?
Just don't put a creepy show number during a brunch.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't want to...
Unless it is a creepy brunch.
Yeah, you want to know your audience. You want to know what show you're performing for. We have a couple of different types of shows here. So we have a lot that are produced by DKO Entertainment or CGN, which is Charlotte Gamers Network, but we also have Carolina Creep Show. I would not use a Carolina Creep Show number, which is spooky, which is alt, which is usually creepy, for something like a CGN brunch.
No.
You got to know your audience. And that leads me perfectly to making a good mix. You got to know your audience for what songs you're picking. You got to make sure that the length itself is appropriate, and it's appropriate for the venue and the show. And also always give trigger warnings if you need it. For you've got a concept and it needs a trigger warning, give it. Tell your show directors. But a good length is average between 4 to 7 minutes, depending on the venue. There are some that go 15 plus. Not everywhere does that. But if you have questions, definitely ask your show director. If you're in Charlotte, harass Onya Nerves, the mother and founder of DKO Entertainment, which is one of the leading drag companies here, and is really a planning company for performers and a management company as well, and puts on things like Kings on Tap, which is run by Kings and is for Kings, but was founded by DKO Entertainment.
Yes.
You also need to know you have a good amount of songs without making it overwhelming. And again, this goes back to the editing. You need to make it clear, concise, and readable for your audience, even auditorially.
Yes.
You need to make sure that they can hear it. It's a good quality sound, but that there's not so many things mashed together in it. I know it's fun and you have all these great ideas to be like, I want to do this song and this song and this song. If I'm doing a 5-minute performance, my max of songs is 3. And even then it's short clips of each with 2 transitions. That's the baseline of a mix, is doing a beginning song, transition, middle song, transition, end. And again, that goes back to the storytelling point, and it helps you move the story along. And with that point, make sure the tempos kind of match, the vibes kind of match. And you can go on YouTube, search all different types of things to find different covers. If I'm needing good transition sounds, I look up hip hop transitions, I look up sound transitions, sound bites and things like that. And I use them from YouTube and such like that and add it to my mixes to make it a little more clear. And like I said, use the tempo and make sure the flow continues throughout the whole performance, because a bad mix can fuck you up. It doesn't matter how good of a performer you are. It doesn't matter how good you look. If your mix is bad, people aren't going to listen. It's just the honesty of it. Some typical mixing software that people use is Audacity, GarageBand, iMovie, or Soundtrap. But the real key is pick which one works for you and just keep using it. Just keep practicing. No one's good at song mixing the first time go around. It really truly takes messing around with the software, figuring out what works, learning how to make those transitions a little bit smoother, learning how to upload the audios themselves. And all of that can be done just through simple YouTube searches. But it just genuinely takes practice, as anything with drag does. And again, go back to making sure it's clear, clean, concise, and appropriate for the audience that you're trying to use it for. And those are the main points for storytelling and mixing. It's something you've probably been doing your whole life, telling stories, just in a way that you can now present to other people.
Yes.
Any questions?
So what are some MP3 converters that you would recommend for people that are taking from YouTube?
I've done YouTube to MP3. Just avoid any sketchy links that may come up from it.
The best thing to do is just Google some apps that could work on your phone. I use an iPhone, so a lot of the time what I will do personally, because I use GarageBand, is I will screen record on YouTube or Spotify whatever song I want, and I upload that to an MP3 converter, and then it takes the audio back to GarageBand. And you need to make sure when you've finished making your mix, it's perfect, it's clean, it's amazing, that when you exported it out, it's MP3 and not M4A.
Yes.
Yeah, because then it's not gonna be usable.
And to test the audio, the best thing to do is like hook it up to your car stereo or another speaker system and see how it's playing, because sometimes it can be heavy.
And again, it takes practice making it sound nice. Not everybody's naturally good at making mixes. Some people pay other people to make mixes. That's also an option.
Yes.
And if you know drag performers who've been in the business for a while, also see if they'd be willing to listen to it for a little bit. See, like, is the quality good, or is the concept good? Is it clear enough? Is it clean enough? Because you always want to be asking for feedback, because that's the best way to grow and actually be a great performer rather than just a good performer. Just ask for feedback. Just remember, there's a beginning, middle, and end, both with your story and with your music. And practice and ask for feedback.
Yes.
We are Kings on Tap. We are an all Kings show, the longest running in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we are here every second Wednesday of the month here at Hattie's Tavern. You could also find us on our YouTube channel, where this will be uploaded, just so we can help new developing performers and Kings in the area. But shout out to any one of us. My name is Jaysin Waterfalls. Behind the camera, we have Liam Laughin. Over there we have Will Charmer. We are all house cast members here at Kings on Tap, and in Dragnito we have Onya Nerves, and you can find us all you can find us all on social media via those names on Instagram, and just don't be afraid to try.